Oh, good glory. It can be daunting sometimes for parents, for students, and definitely for teachers. So we want to help you and your kids get off to a great start. So we thought, who better to ask than the people who spend so much time with our kids? We have a panel of current and former teachers here. First of all, thank you guys for taking some time out of your morning to help us with this. Because wouldn't you agree that in general, back to school is kind of a stressful time for everybody?
Absolutely.
We're in agreement about that. I want to start young. All right, so I'm going to start with Janine here. Janine's a former teacher, former elementary school administrator. When we got little kids, you know, elementary school kids, some of them don't even know what to expect. What do you suggest in terms of walking them through that path? How do you make sure they relieve that anxiety a little bit?
I believe it starts with a routine at home first, and the parents need to know that kids are anxious as well as the parents being anxious. So if the kids notice that their parents are nervous about the whole thing. So we've got to get a routine down where they get to bed early and know the routine of getting up, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, going, having breakfast.
Do it before school starts.
Exactly.
Don't wait till the day school starts.
Right.
Garrett, and those school supplies are important right now. We were just talking about this a little bit, but a lot of parents, a lot of students, they can't afford all the school supplies. You know, when you get to middle school and high school, there's kind of peer pressure. Oh, I got the cool notebook, you don't. What do you suggest to parents who maybe can't go out there and spend $150 on school supplies?
So it doesn't really matter like how fancy the school supplies are. You can get a 50-cent notebook from
Teachers
Walmart.
don't care.
Teachers don't care. We just want to make sure that your kid has the supplies so that they can be successful in the classroom.
Yeah.
All right, get them some pencils, get them a couple notebooks, and they're all set.
Yeah.
They're good to go.
Just get them something to write with.
Right, and we have a lot of extra supplies in the classrooms. Yeah. It's just if we have to supply it for every single student, we run out really quickly.
Well, and Jesse, you were saying there are resources out there at most school districts for kids who can't afford all those supplies.
Yeah, there's a lot of good programs for that, and there's donation programs that provide those for students who need them.
Well, and Mackenzie, we were talking about cell phones. Oh, as a parent, I don't even want to get into this topic, but we have to. Especially in middle school and high school, every kid seems to have a cell phone.
Yes, and they do have their place in the classroom. They can be used for educational opportunities. But if parents would stress to their kids, don't look at your cell phone during class.
How do you fight that as a teacher?
Oh, I collect them when they walk in the door.
You do?
Yep.
Wow, good. Now, do you put them in a place where they know where they are in
Yeah,
case
it's a
something?
lockbox. It's nice and safe, so it's their property. They deserve to get it back, but it's locked up.
And if something were to happen, I mean, that's why parents want their kids to have it. They want them to be able to call them or text them if something's going on.
Yes.
Do you provide that? Like, okay, this is where they're going to be. We'll unlock this if something were to go down.
They know exactly where they're. It's their property, like I said. They know exactly where the phones are. There's a lock that only I know the combination to, but heaven forbid if there is an emergency, of course I would pass the cell phones back out.
Parents have to have that conversation. They have to talk to their kids, don't
Yes,
you think?
please. Yes.
She's begging you guys. She's a teacher. Help her out. And Jesse, we were talking about, God forbid something happens in the school, but we just had the STEM shooting at the end of last year. There's a lot of anxiety that goes with that. A lot of students have that in the back of their head. What do you do? What do you tell parents to do to make sure that those fears are calmed to some extent?
I think especially when you get with the kids who are the later elementary, middle, and high school, it's good to have those conversations about this is something that could happen. Chances are it won't, because a lot of kids just assume that if it happened there, it could happen everywhere. Yes, it can, but it's not as common as thank goodness we think it is sometimes.
Do you see the difference in the kids who have talked about it with their parents versus those who haven't?
I mean, I have some kids who come in and they've never talked about it, and they hear about it from other kids at school, and that's a scary thing for them. So I, too, in my classrooms, we have conversations of if this did happen, this is where we go, and we have drills at school, and we have plans as teachers and administrators. So
times have changed. We never
time.
had those plans when I was a kid, but unfortunately that's just sort of the way it has to be. And hopefully if kids know that there is a plan, they'll feel better about it. Adam, as someone, you're a former teacher, but you taught in those, was it middle school or high school?
Middle school.
Middle school, oh, good glory. That's a tough time. And you mentioned parent-student relationships can sometimes be tough because those are the ages when parents and students kind of, they butt heads a little bit.
They do.
What do you suggest for parents?
Yeah, so middle school is an emotional roller coaster. So
Yeah.
you've got to see your student for who your student is and kind of set the expectations early and make sure you maintain consistency. That's the most important thing. Make sure it's consistent throughout the school year.
Does it help to communicate with the teachers and say, hey, listen, I'm having a hard time getting through to Bobby?
Yeah, your teachers are your teammates.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Talk to your teachers, see what's going on.
Good luck, guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We appreciate the work you do. We appreciate the insight you've given us. I know this is just kind of a tiny little sliver of what the kids are going to be facing and the parents are going to be facing, but certainly helps to have your perspective and obviously helps to have you guys doing your job. So thank you for that. And hopefully that helped out a little bit. You know, we talked a little bit about cutting down on distractions. We talked about smartphones.